So, here we'll be talking about how Connecticut's current unjust system hurts children. Okay, so first of all, I like to preface this again with the fact that I am looking to protect parents who are taking care of their child or children both economically and emotionally. I am in no way condoning any actions of deadbeat parents. Anyone who is not willing to take care of the kids is violating children's safety and that deserves natural consequences. We'll talk about consequences later on, but I'm also working under the presumption that both parents are loving and caring toward their children and want to be fully involved in their lives as much as possible, which is why I'm focused on 50-50 custody as much as circumstances allow. So in this video, I'll be discussing the adverse effects of the current child support system in Connecticut on children. I'm also looking to show how dividing resources further than necessary can never benefit our children. It puts them at an economic disadvantage. It allows further emotional damage, and the only true benefactors of this are the judges, the lawyers, the state, and obviously the parents who are receiving money for doing what they were supposed to do, their God-given responsibility when the child was born, right? So we're going to start off like this. We're going to use a household income of $7,500 a month between the two parents. All right. Obviously, everybody's situation is different, but the general idea of dividing resources is the same. And quite frankly, the less money that's made between the two, the bigger the discrepancy are, and the more detrimental this is to our children. So, I mean, it's a crazy system that has better solutions than we're finding right now. So let's say that one parent earns $5,000 a month and another parent earns $2,000 a month. All right, and that's how we get our $7,500. Well, when the lower income parent leaves the household, right, their $2,000 is now subtracted from the overall household income. On top of it, let's take out a modest amount for child support for 2 or 3 children, let's say, and the amount goes down even further. And so now the child's primary residence has just gone down from $7,500 a month to $4,000 a month, right? And what if the primary residence needs to pay a mortgage, or possibly they're saving for a house to make a better life for their children, right? They're doing everything they're supposed to, they're taking care of their responsibilities, and now they've had this very harsh impact that just devastates what the child's life could have looked like. Okay, and like I said before, as amounts get lower, the concept is amplified. All right, so imagine cutting a household income of like $4,000 in half, and now you're only getting $2,000 in each household. I mean, it just isn't feasible. And so here's a scenario with a little bit less taken out. So let's say the lower income leaves with their 2,000, and then only $1,000 taken out. Oops. Well, you still have quite a difference from 7,500 to 4,500, and that's still a big difference, right? Now we can't keep the lower earning parent from leaving. I believe in human rights, so if they've got to go, they've got to go for whatever the reason may be. But my thing is, don't let the children suffer more than they have to. They're already suffering with that income leaving the main household, and then on top of it, you want to put the other parent on child support when they're already taking care of the responsibilities. That's not good for the children. All right. And so then what happens if a parent earns the entire household income of $7,500? Well, I believe there are other solutions to ensure the child gets what they need from both parents without worsening their current quality of life. So if $7,500 is what they earn, well then, there are other, solutions. And although I might allude to them sometimes in this video, I'm definitely going to go into more depth during another one. I've got a few ideas, and then honestly, there are people smarter than I. So, I mean, I think we could come up with something better, right, than hurting our children, right? So listen, those that are taking advantage of the system and the conflict that arises under the current system would tell you this is the best interest of the children because it provides the opportunity for the kids to be with both parents. Well, money doesn't have to have a direct impact or directly allow or impede the child being with both parents. It may change the quality of life in each household, but access to the child really is strictly a matter of parental desire. Does the parent want to? And a court order. So if a parent doesn't have enough money to take care of the child, that doesn't mean they can't be in their life, which is what the court is promoting. They're saying, hey, money is the end all be all, but there are other ways to go ahead and make that happen. And I'll be covering some of those healthy and just alternatives if a parent doesn't have enough money to take care of their kid in another video. All right. And aside from being economically detrimental, our child support guidelines are emotionally detrimental. These kids, it's already emotionally draining on the parents because there's the split, but on the children who see all of it, the state would have you believe that they're trying to create a household or two households as if the original were still intact. Well, I just showed you that was impossible economically. It's not possible emotionally. There's a high rate of conflict that arises between the parents most of the time. Even in the best co-parenting situations, conflict will arise. All right, the children see this, and it's hard for them no matter what. It's important that we at least remove as many points of contention as we can. And money is usually the biggest, right? My philosophy is, hey, if you could take care of the money, eventually, once the other emotions kind of settle down, mom and dad, although they might not be best of friends, I've seen it where they've had a pretty decent working relationship, and the kid definitely benefited. All right. So it's understood that we'll never get rid of all the points of contention, but we could do what we could do and give the best chance for parents to get along. All right, and then that's going to benefit the kids. If the child support guidelines are better aligned with ensuring that children are well and our perception of justice, then the conflict will decrease. When I say our perception of justice, I'm again referring to no monetary exchange when parents have 50-50 custody, as the state shouldn't have the right to impose their will on a parent who's taking care of their responsibilities, right? There are other solutions for the parent who might not be able to do it all, okay? And then finally, children from divorced parents will end up starting economically disadvantaged as they progress towards and into adulthood. So while the original household resources are diminished because of the split, they're further diminished because of child support. So a child who might have had maybe both parents together, and they've had all this money together in one household. By the time they're 18, 19, 20, they may have a little nest egg to go to college, to buy a house, or whatever. That opportunity all of a sudden is gone because the money's now been used for two mortgages or two rents or two closets of clothing, et cetera, et cetera. And so I believe that this is a deliberate attempt for the government to impede generational wealth. Like these kids, they can't be better than their parents because now, they're starting off with less. And so the more dependency we have on the government, the more control the government has over us. And I'm a big believer that that's by design. And I'll leave you with an interesting fact about all of this. The parents who are actually able to maintain the child's current quality of life and pay child support. So let's say somebody who earns, I don't know, $300,000 a year, for example, right? They could, they could have a nice house for the kids in a nice area with a nice education system. And the kids are great. They have the clothes, they have the sports, they have everything they need, and they even have enough money to go pay the other parent to take care of them in the other household. And get this, they don't have to, because there's a ceiling on the current guidelines of $4,000 of combined income, which is about $208,000 a year combined. So if each parent earns about $104,000 a year, nothing will go up from there. So somebody who earns $500,000 a year would pay the same child support as somebody who earns $208,000 a year. While those of us who are struggling and the people who are trying to, get ourselves better and try to give our children a better life than we had, right? We're still paying child support, even though we're taking care of our responsibilities, all right? Listen, please check out my website, check out the other videos, contact your Connecticut state representative, contact your state senator, and let's set this right, because we're fighting for Connecticut justice, and it's about time.